Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Cyber Reviews and a happy new year to you and yours, depending on the time that you are watching this video. Now today I'm going to walk you through the process that I go through whenever I need to create a video so that you can also create amazing videos for your channel or for any other social media. Coming up next.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Alright guys, so today I'm going to walk you through 7 steps that I go through whenever I'm creating a video. From when I get the idea to when the final video is produced. And so I need you to be patient, work with me, and I believe this video is going to be of great value to you. And if at any point in time, if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. Now, if you're new to my channel, I create entertaining and educational tech content. I usually review mobile apps, mobile phones, and mobile gadgets. So for today's video, I'm going to use a collaboration video I did with Valor Reviews as reference. We did a collaboration amongst other tech YouTubers who are also genuinely creating awesome and amazing content. So I'll leave a link in the description to that video so that you can go and check it out. Now, I saw on a Telegram group that we are in, and Valor Review said he wanted us to talk about the best smartphone of 2019. And when I saw this video, I asked him, when do you want to upload this? And he said, in about 3 hours. So at that time I was driving, and it means I had just at most 2 hours to think of a concept, create a video, edit it, and send to him. So I'm going to walk you through that thought process and how I finally managed to create that particular video. Hi guys, this is Cyber of Cyber Reviews, and thank you so much Valor Reviews for having me on this super epic collaboration. I make incredibly boring tech videos which still manage to be entertaining. Now see, I'm a rapper, so when I write a letter and take a picture and send to the company, I expect them to make me an offer to pay me at least $20,000 every single quarter. Now you can clearly see that this guy is very fine. So I expect all the fine ladies to come close to me, give me a kiss on my cheek and say,
will you be mine?
Then they begin to write their phone number on a paper and then they'll say,
Call me later.
I'll think about it. See, if you don't have good phone, you cannot get fine chicks to call you. Now I'm a boss, so when I'm driving in traffic and police see me making the call in traffic, they begin to panic, open their way, say, sorry, Augusta, carry on, because I'm classic. See, I know the other guys will be talking about so many other kinds of phones, but there's only one phone that's up to the task. There's just one phone which leaves all other phones in their tracks. Yeah, I'm talking about the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Thanks so much, Valor Reviews, for having me on this super epic collaboration. See you guys in the next one. So the 7 steps that we are going to go through are, first of all, planning. And planning is very essential for me because everything I do, I like to plan so much. Like this particular video that you are watching right now, I planned it in my head, the things I'm going to say, everything. I like to plan so that I don't waste time on the video talking about unnecessary things and digressing too much, because when you don't plan, then you begin to talk about so many other things and you notice you'll be saying and you make that video boring. So planning is key. The next thing we are going to talk about is filming. When do you need to use a mobile phone? When do you need to use a professional DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera? Then we are going to talk about the gear to use. Cameras, lighting, audio, everything. Then next we are going to talk about the actual process of filming, okay? After that we are going to talk about the editing, and then we are going to talk about the export settings and uploading to YouTube to make it user-friendly for people to be able to search and find your videos and for your videos to rank. This is not going to be too much of an in-depth video. This is going to be how I create my videos, my thought process, the concepts, okay? And I believe that you're going to get a lot of value from it, especially if you're new to YouTube or you want to step up your video making skills. All right, so let's talk about the very first step, planning. Like I said, I had only 2 hours, and at that time I was driving. So I started visualizing the concept in my head, the best smartphone. I already know which phone is the best for me since I've been using a lot of phones this year. I've reviewed a lot. But I didn't want my video to get lost in a sea of other tech videos. You know, tech guys are usually very nerdy people. They'll be spitting out numbers, Snapdragon 845, Snapdragon 855, 4000 milliampere battery, and so many other things, okay? But I'm kind of like Apple. My philosophy is create the thing, Let people get the value for what they are looking for. Don't bore them with too many details. And I knew these guys were going to do that. So I said, for this video, I don't have the kind of studio setups that these guys have. Because if you watch the video, the guys have a lot of lighting equipment, studio setup, nice background. I don't have. I just have this plain wall, and I'm in the hall right now. And I don't have lighting equipment. The light you are seeing is from the ceiling and daylight. Okay, so I can't compete toe to toe with them. And I'm saying compete because though it's a collaboration, I take everything that I do very seriously. I'm a very competitive guy. So I see it also as a competition, not just a collaboration. Because it's an opportunity for me to put myself out there to an audience who doesn't know me or who don't know me, whatever the right English is. Okay, so I needed a concept that would stand out from the rest. And I didn't want to just bore people with numbers about the phones. I knew the phone I wanted to talk about was the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is genuinely a very good phone. So while I was driving, I started practicing the things I was going to say. I started putting the scene together. So I wanted to talk about the intrinsic value you get from using an iPhone, the emotional value and the social status. So that was the angle I was taking it from. I wasn't going to bore you with the ones which have the best RAM and best storage and stuff like that. Because usually people buy things because of the emotional attachment that they have to it. So I came up with a concept, got my sister to wake up and come and join me, let's shoot it. So I decided to rap in this video. I mean, how many tech people rap? That's the first thing, rap. And I'm a very good rapper. Like, if you watch my other videos, you know, I can rap. I can rap people's songs. I also have my own lyrics. I can rap. So I got my sister. I told her, this is the concept we are going to do. And I'm going to show you the behind the scenes. I'm going to show you all the bloopers that we made for that particular video. And you will appreciate how editing can make even all the mistakes you make whilst filming turn out really nice and make the video very coherent, okay? Because it's a story you are telling. And like I said, in my story, I wanted people to be able to relate with the emotional attachment of the phone, okay? So the concept was, one, I want to talk about the cameras. I want to talk about how it makes me feel. I want people to feel that when I hold this phone, I feel like a boss. I feel very proud. I feel very confident. So the first concept was, if I write a letter to a company, an application letter looking for a job, okay, once they see my picture, they are going to make me an offer to pay me $20,000 every single quarter. And I wrote it down. I rehearsed it a lot of times. And when you are creating a video, you may need to take multiple takes. That video, I took like over 25 minutes of footage and edited it to 1 minute, 21 seconds. And the next step was to talk about how ladies like iPhones. And because I'm using an iPhone 11 Pro Max, like I'll be getting a lot of love from the ladies. So I rehearsed that with my sister. We took so many different shots because some of it wasn't very energetic. Some of it looked very fake and everything. I wanted it to be natural. I wanted it to flow with the video. So we rehearsed. So this is all part of the planning process that I'm talking about. You rehearse a lot so that your video doesn't come out boring. It comes out exciting. It stands out from the rest of the crowd. And then we took multiple different takes. And then the third concept was, I was talking about when I'm stuck in traffic and I find a policeman and I'm doing the wrong thing, like making a call even whilst in traffic. Instead of the policeman stopping me and arresting me, he's going to allow me to continue because of the phone I'm using, like I'm a boss. So I actually went to town to where police people stand in traffic a lot and will be arresting people. I took footage of that, but I didn't put it in that particular one. You see, once I got the concept in mind, I began to practice what I was going to say. I put the main points down. I put the lyrics that I wanted to rap down so that I wouldn't come and be fumbling in my rap and everything. And then because I wanted to do it with my sister, I had to bring her. We demonstrated, practice, rehearsed a lot, like over an hour before we actually started filming. So the next thing was, what camera am I going to use? Should I use my mobile phone or should I use my DSLR camera? Now, I decided to use a DSLR camera because I was talking about me and how the phone makes me feel. And the DSLR can capture my emotions, can capture my handsomeness and everything. So that's the second stage. All right, guys. So next, we are going to talk about the gear you use when you decide how you want to film. Now, guys, you don't need any expensive gear. Once you have your camera or your smartphone to capture the video with, you are good to go. I was talking to an upcoming YouTuber and he said he wants to buy mics and gimbals before he starts. Gimbals? Like seriously, before you start your YouTube video. I don't think you need a gimbal or some expensive setup. Sometimes I feel we give ourselves a lot of pressure because we see these top tech people or top guys having this expensive setup and we want that thing from the onset. If you have it and you can afford it, why not? Go ahead. But if not, start with what you have and make the most out of what you have. Okay, because if you have a camera which can shoot 4K or 8K, but your content is crap, then in the end, you are just going to be editing 4K crap. So you need to make sure that you can deliver your story, communicate well with your audience, have that emotional connection. If you want to be entertaining, entertain, okay, but deliver quality content, not necessarily with expensive gear. So for me, the things I think are most important, like I said, is one, what you're going to use to film. It could be your smartphone, it could be your camera. I'm not using the most expensive camera setup. I'm using a Sony a5100. I'll leave a link in the description below on how you can get it on Amazon. The next thing I use is my power bank, because if you're using your mobile phones to shoot, you don't want to be shooting at, let's say, a festival or an event and then you run out of battery power. So this is like a 30,000 milliampere power bank by Rough Power. So you can get one. It can last you the whole day. It can last you a week of use and you make sure you never run out of juice. I can also use it to power my camera. Now, the next thing which I think is very important that everybody needs is you need to have as many external storage disks as possible, hard disk drives, okay, because video creation takes up a lot of space. Like, I can do a 4-minute video and it will be like 3 gigs, and I even export it in 1080p. So you can imagine if you are recording in 4K, editing in 4K. It's also very important to have an external hard disk, especially because you don't want to be throwing away footage. When I started, I used to delete the raw files after I've edited and exported the video, uploaded to YouTube. But now I don't, because I reuse the footage, especially when it's product shots. I review mobile phones. So if I'm talking about the iPhone and tomorrow I want to compare that same iPhone with a Samsung Galaxy S9, I don't need to go and shoot video again for that iPhone because I already have it. Now the next thing I use is my laptop. I don't use a very high-end gaming machine. I don't use a MacBook Pro. I don't use an iMac. I use a laptop made by Acer. I bought it like 3 or 4 years ago on Amazon during Black Friday. I think it's the E15. It's an i3. And it served me very well. I upgraded the memory to 16 gig RAM and it works for the purpose. Okay, so that's the gear that I use. For audio, I use my phone to record audio. Okay, so what you are hearing right now, if it sounds good, it's coming from my phone, recording to my phone. So maybe you should consider that. All right, so now you've been able to shoot that really great video. Your story is on point. You planned your concept. Everything was really awesome. The next thing you need to do is to edit it. Now, why do we edit? We edit because when we are filming, we make a lot of mistakes. You have bloopers, you have slow moments, you have points where you pause and you're thinking and stuff like that. So you want to edit those ones out so people don't see. But I'm going to leave that pausing because it was a point I was trying to make. And you don't want your video to be too boring, okay? So you need to ensure that you edit the silences, the arms, the ums, and make it as short as possible. People tend to try to make the video very long, hoping that YouTube will favor them. But if the video is very long and you are beating about the bush, people are going to tend to click away from your video and it's going to really hurt you. So try and go straight to the point, deliver value that the people came for in as little time as possible. And so in editing, here are the general principles that we can go through, okay? I'm not going to talk about any specific editing app or software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use anything you want. You just need to understand the concepts for creating a good edit. First of all, after I've shot all my video, I sit down and I watch those videos. That's the first thing I do. I watch. So as I'm watching, I name the video. I rename every footage. So I could call the first one maybe the planning footage. And then I call the next one the gear footage. I call the next one the editing footage. And so I know at which point markers I had the arms and ums and stuff. So as I'm editing, I mark those ones that I'm going to cut these portions. Also, not all the footage you are going to record are you going to use. So by watching it ahead of time, you save yourself time by importing it into your editing app and realizing this is not the right one for you to use. Also, it's very good to name your files so that you can always find them, or even if you give your project to somebody else, the person can easily pick up from where you left off and continue the editing. And the next thing I do is to listen to the audio and try and sync it with the video. So I import all that into my editing software, sync the audio with the video. Remember, I record my audio with my phone and the video with the camera. So I need to sync it to make sure that it aligns. Now, the next thing I like to do is to edit my videos with music, okay, or with a background beat or instrumentals to fill in some of the silences, okay. Now, so what I do is I import that soundtrack, and make sure that once you are importing a soundtrack, you're not going to import something that will get copyrighted. There are lots of places where you can get copyright-free music or soundtracks, including the YouTube audio library. There are many ones that you can also pay for, but there are lots of free ones to ensure that you don't get copyright strikes and claims on your video. What will happen is that if you have copyright strikes or claims, when you monetize that video, the money goes to the owner of the original content. Now, music has highs and lows. It has kicks, it has different tempos and stuff. So what I do is once I listen to the songs, as I'm listening to it, I press M on Adobe Premiere, it could be a different key, to set markers at the places where the beat drops. Like something like bang, 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 bang. So like if you watch my intro, have you ever felt, so I edit it such that the text comes in with the song. Then after that, it says, are you listening? Then it goes bang, 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 bang. So that's bang, 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 bang. I put markers at each bang, 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 bang. Then I cut it and then put footage there and sync it. So if you watch my intro video, which is playing right now, and you can listen to it right now.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
So you can see how that works. So it creates a very nice effect for your video. So that's how I edit to music. And once I edit to music, make sure that your music is lower than your speaking voice, okay, or your audio. So make sure that if you are talking, the music doesn't drown your voice, okay, unless it's an effect you are going for. Make sure the music doesn't drown out your voice. The next thing I like to do is to add transitions between points where there were breaks. So like I'm talking right now, I make a mistake, I cut, and the next one, you can clearly see that there's a jump cut. So you can add transitions to ensure continuity in your video, in your flow. People might not even notice that there was a cut there. In fact, I have certain techniques I use that when you're watching the video, you wouldn't notice that there's a cut. I met somebody and the person said he is very impressed with the way I seem to flow, like I talk and flow and flow. I don't talk and flow like that, so see. I'll say, hi guys, welcome to another edition of Cyber Reviews. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So you see there was this awkward pause and everything, but I'll edit it such that you wouldn't notice. And those are the editing skills that you need to learn. And I'll do a more in-depth video talking about how I edit in Premiere Pro. This is just the concept. The next thing I try to do is, if needed, I add motion graphic elements, so lower thirds, if maybe I'm talking to somebody and I want the person's name to be there. Broadcast motion, like the things you see on TV. Try to be very professional, but you don't necessarily need all those. But there are instances where you need them. For example, you've traveled to a resort somewhere or a hotel somewhere and you want people to visit the place. You want to put the prices, the opening times, the closing times, the venue. So you need to put those motion graphic elements there so that even if the person is watching but not listening to the audio, the person can still understand exactly what you're trying to communicate. So like I said, I have a custom intro that I use for my videos. Sometimes I change it up, sometimes I don't, but I just have a general format. So I do my initial hook to hook the viewers. I talk about what I'm going to talk about in the video, and I usually say coming up next. Then I bring my bumper, and then after that we go into the video itself. So that's the format that I use. Once you have a format, it's very easy for you to edit. So you create that format, you save it as a template, and every time you want to work, you just put in the videos and you cut, and then you follow the steps that we've spoken about. And once you do all that, watch your video again and make sure that everything is on point. Sometimes the audio might have gone off in certain places, but because you didn't watch, you upload and you realize the audio was terrible or the audio was even not working at all. And it's cost a lot of data to upload videos in this part of the world. So you need to make sure that you watch it and ensure that everything is really good before you finally export. Next, I upload to YouTube. I create a custom thumbnail for my video, and I put in some work on Photoshop. I'll go through all these things. So just subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on all notifications so you don't miss that one. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll create a follow-up video to address all these. Thanks, Bebre.